Have you ever heard the phrase cause and effect? It's basically when one thing happens as a result of a different thing happening. For example, cause, my mom is in a great mood today. Effect, I'm going to ask for concert tickets. Cause, my teacher sprung an unexpected project on our class due Monday. Effect, my weekend is now totally destroyed. Cause, I look like a mess today. Effect, I don't feel confident enough to talk to that guy or girl I have a crush on in my math class. Cause, we played terrible in last night's game. Effect, the coach pushed us harder in our practice today. You can get the idea. And here's what's funny for me. I'm guessing it's true for you too. When I experience something and the effect is great, I'm the first to say, oh, the cause is me. I am the great thing that caused this great effect. Okay, I don't say that out loud, but I totally hype myself up in my own head. But on the flip side, I run into effects all the time that are bad. And I am 0% likely to say, that's me, I did that, I'm the cause. In fact, if I lose my keys, I'll blame my husband, the weather, the cats, the Spotify song that I was listening to that distracted me, whatever. Is that just me? In life, sometimes we all mess up. We slip up. We make mistakes. We drift away from what we know we are supposed to do. And the effect? We lose influence. Here's what I mean. Sometimes this happens in a big way. We make a big mistake and what we did becomes the headline gossip at school or on the team or even in our small groups. Maybe it involved getting high at a party or nude pics that went public or a run-in with the police or just something stupid we did that everybody found out about. Whatever we did was the cause, and the effect is people that look up to us take a step back. People that listen to us turn down the volume. Adults who respected us give us that disappointed look. Even the people that are normally quick to hang out with us, they are suddenly busy. Sometimes this happens in a small way over time too. It wasn't one huge decision, it was a series of small decisions, small changes in our friend group, one-time things that turned into all the time things until suddenly we're a different person and we're seen differently. How we treat people can increase or decrease the effects we have on the lives of others. Over time, if those interactions are negative, people could stop trusting us or stop wanting us to be around. And as a result, we can lose our positive effect slowly over time. Before we even realize it, our relationships have changed. And we can end up feeling like we can't ever get back what we lost. And here's the thing. Losing influence happens to all of us because none of us are perfect. We all make decisions that create distance between us and the people around us. And when that happens, nearly all of us tell ourselves the same thing. That's it. Story's over. We mess up. We do something stupid. People find out and we decide, not to go to church or refinery that week. We stay quiet in our small groups. We ghost our friend group. And more often than not, 1 week turns into 2 weeks turn into 2 months. And before long, we start telling ourselves, I used to be a church person, a God person, a small group person. That's not me now. I'm not going to have influence or be the person who changes someone's life because of Jesus. Maybe I was once a positive person that had a positive you effect on the people around me, but that's just not who I am anymore. And if that's you aren't the first to feel this way. The Bible is full of people who had a positive influence, lost it, and were sure their story was over. This week, we're going to look at a woman whose influence nearly hit rock bottom. In her culture, women already had less influence than men. They were seen as property, and people believed they had very little value. And in this case, the woman made some pretty bad decisions that led her to lose what little influence she had. Her encounter with Jesus was recorded by Luke, a physician and researcher who spent time with people who knew Jesus and wrote down their stories. This particular account begins with a dinner invitation. When one of the Pharisees invited Jesus to have dinner with him, he went to the Pharisee's house and reclined at the table. So for context, the Pharisees were Jewish leaders who were dedicated to following Jewish religious law. And because of that, they were confident that they had a positive effect on others. They were so confident, in fact, that they looked down on others who seemed to have less of an influence. With that in mind, here's what happens next. A woman in that town who lived a sinful life learned that Jesus was eating at the Pharisee's house. So she came there with an alabaster jar of perfume. As she stood behind him at his feet weeping, she began to wet his feet with her tears. Then she wiped them with her hair, kissed them, and poured perfume on them. So this might sound weird, but foot washing was common in that time. Imagine spending all day walking on a dirt road in sandals, kind of like camp. Everyone's feet would be nasty. So it wasn't unusual to wash your feet when coming into someone's house. What was different about this situation was that this woman wasn't using water, but an expensive jar of perfume. This was about more than clean feet. It was like an act of worship. And the Pharisee had thoughts about it. When the Pharisee who had invited him saw this, he said to himself, if this man were a prophet, he would know who is touching him and what kind of a woman she is, that she is a sinner. The thing is, the Pharisee had Jesus all wrong. He thought Jesus would back away from being touched by a sinful woman, when in reality, this was exactly the kind of people Jesus was drawn to, and the kind of people drawn to Jesus. He preferred it that way. People with no influence were drawn to Jesus. People who were sinners were drawn to Jesus. People who had negatively affected others were drawn to Jesus. This woman knew that she had a bad reputation and no influence or respect in this group. And that's what drove her straight to Jesus's feet. Her appreciation for Jesus was fueled by her own inadequacy. She didn't hide from Jesus because she didn't measure up. Instead, she got close to him and worshiped him. Then Jesus tells a story and goes on. Then he turned toward the woman and said to Simon, "Do you see this woman? I came into your house. You did not give me any water for my feet, and she wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You did not give me a kiss, but this woman from the time I entered has not stopped kissing my feet. You did not put oil on my head, but she has poured perfume on my feet. Therefore, I tell you, her many sins have been forgiven, as her great love has shown. But whoever has been forgiven little loves little." Then Jesus said to her, "Your sins are forgiven." Simon looked at this woman and probably saw her as nothing. But when Jesus looked at her, he saw something completely different. He saw potential and purpose and a positive effect for her future. See, up until this point, the cause and effect of this woman's life looked like this. Cause, she was a sinner. Effect, people looked down on her and thought negatively about her. But this was the cause and effect of Jesus' response to her. Cause, Jesus loved her. Effect, Jesus forgave her and gave her a new start. No matter what you've done or how bad of a person you think you are or how people may see you because of what you've done, you are loved by Jesus and you are free to love him back. You don't need to get it together or make up for anything or try to be good until you can hang out with Jesus. In fact, what's incredible about Jesus's encounter with this woman is afterward, she had more influence than she could have ever imagined. To be clear, her story has been told and she has been used as an example of faith for thousands of years. Her you effect may have once been almost gone, but it became bigger than she could have ever imagined. Because of her decision to take a step towards Jesus, her story was redeemed through Jesus. Her lost influence, lost reputation, and lost standing weren't lost forever. Think of it this way. Because of Jesus, we can change the effect we have on others. Just like the woman in the story, our mistakes don't have to erase the potential for a positive effect. Jesus has always been about new starts and do-overs. Maybe you're sitting here tonight feeling like you relate to this story because you've made some decisions you regret, or just have assumed your bad decisions meant that you weren't the kind of person God would want to use. Or maybe you feel like you've made decisions that have caused you to lose your influence with the people around you. Sure, God forgives, but people still talk, right? Can you even change that? Either way, here are a few steps you can take to change direction. 1, reflect. Ask yourself, what small steps or big decisions are leading me to have a negative effect on others? Is it how you speak to others? Are you too harsh or sarcastic in your responses? Maybe you're getting drunk, smoking weed, or making impulsive decisions that are borderline reckless. Maybe you're lying to the people who are closest to you, or pretending to be someone that you're not. Whatever it is, take some time to think honestly about what may be causing the you effect to be not so good. A second is confess. If there are choices that have led you to have a negative effect on others, talk to God about it. Invite him into your mess. Just like the woman at the dinner party, we can approach Jesus no matter what other people think or say about us. He isn't surprised. He isn't mad. He is quick to forgive and accept us just as we are. He sees us exactly as we are, people made in his image with incredible potential. You may want to talk to an adult about your past decisions as well. That's why we have refinery leaders. They want to be a safe place for you to say anything, and they can help you figure out what to do next. Rebuilding trust with people takes time and some intentionality, and your leader can help with that. Identify a specific step you can take to move in the right direction, to rebuild trust after the negative effect you have had on people around you because of choices you made. Maybe it's apologizing to someone you have mistreated or lied to. Maybe it's changing the way that you speak to people. Maybe it's asking someone to check in on you and remind you about the positive decisions you've made to change. As we finish up tonight, remember, because of Jesus, we can change the effect we have on others. Lost influence doesn't have to be lost forever. You have the ability to take a step in a different direction, and you can know that's true for everyone. Maybe you know someone who made some choices that disappointed you or made you think of them differently. If that's true, know because of Jesus, they can have a new start too. And you can be a part of reminding them that they're welcome, loved, and accepted. The truth is, all of us mess up sometimes. We take our you effect from positive to negative. and we need a fresh start. And when that happens, we're all tempted to give up, walk away, or assume the story is over. But Jesus makes it so clear. Nobody gets to say the story is over. And when we take a step towards Jesus, he invites us to get up instead of give up, and to change the effect one step at a time. Now, if you are watching this live, we are starting our small groups very soon. So just shoot us a message and we can get you clued into that if you aren't yet already. Love you guys.